and thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Lyons, Sector Strategist for Manufacturing and Logistics with CareerSource Tampa Bay. I'll be your moderator for this discussion about career opportunities available to women in manufacturing. My organization, CareerSource Tampa Bay, is a local workforce development board responsible for carrying out workforce development services in Hillsborough County. Basically, we help people find employment and employers find talent to meet their employment needs. For more information of CareerSource Tampa Bay, please visit our website at careersourcetb.com. Today's discussion is hosted by the Manufacturing Alliance of Hillsborough County and its founding partners: Hillsborough County Government, Hillsborough County Community College, Hillsborough County Public Schools, and CareerSource Tampa Bay. The goal of the Manufacturing Alliance is to address the skills gap and worker shortage in our local manufacturing community by increasing residents' awareness of manufacturing careers and available training programs. For more information of the Manufacturing Alliance, please visit the website madeinhillsborough.org. Today's session is going to be a very interactive, and we have a great panel of manufacturing industry and educational partners who will share their perspectives on opportunities available to women in manufacturing. You will also hear about our training pathways available to students from high school through college, as well as those already in the workforce. If you have any questions during the discussion, please use the Q&A button of your screen to type in your questions. We'll have time at the end of the panel discussion to answer your questions. To practice use of the Q&A button, I'll ask a question. Please submit your answer by using the Q&A button. What is your perception of manufacturing as a career for women? As you're typing your answers, I'll go ahead and introduce our panelists. Our first panelist is Deborah Hayden. Deborah has called Tampa home for over 30 years, successfully raising 3 children who attended and graduated from Hillsborough County Public Schools. She has spent the majority of her career in accounting positions, gaining CPA certification in 2014 and several other designations since then. She says, and I quote, "It may be surprising that I end up in accounting since I initially completed an associate's degree in civil engineering technology and a year-long VOTEC school welding program. I'm happy to say that many attitudes about women in the workplace have changed since then, but there's still plenty of work to be done." She has continued her education and graduated with a bachelor's degree in business accounting from University of Phoenix and a master's of science in accountants from Stetson. She has served in public accounting and various private industries through the years, with over 5 years now as a controller of Precision Build Solutions, better known as Tampa Tank Florida Structural and Steel. She is a lifelong learner and truly believes that this is the #1 requirement to be successful in life in your one's career. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Lauren Ebert. Lauren is a supervisor in career, technical, and adult education from Hillsborough County Public Schools. She currently oversees all the middle and high school agricultural, automotive, and industrial programs. Growing up with a background in agriculture and as a part of FFA member, she knows the importance that a career and technical education can make in a student's life. A graduate of Hillsborough County Public Schools, she was raised in Plant City and graduated from University of Florida with a degree in communications. After working in television news for 3 years, she decided education was her passion, where she wanted to be. She taught middle and high school before moving into CTAE office, where she currently serves. She worked on numerous grants projects with Hillsborough County Manufacturing Alliance to upgrade equipment at the engineering program at Milton High School, machining technology at Armwood High School, and 4 welding programs in Hillsborough High School, Jefferson High School, and Tampa Bay Technical High School. Next is Dr. Deborah Kess-Johansson. She joined Hillsborough Community College as the Brandon Campus President in 2021. Deborah is a seasoned higher education administrator and strategist, is a strong supporter of teaching and learning, excellence, innovation, calculated growth, and fiscal sustainability. Her work is grounded in principles of access and success for all students, investing in people, providing rigorous and relevant programming, and engaging in continuous quality improvement. Deborah holds an associate's and bachelor's degree in secondary social science education from Florida State University and an MBA and JD from the University of Florida. In 2016, she earned her Doctor of Education in Community College Leadership from Roush Graduate Center of National American University. Deborah has spent the last decade in higher education administration, taking on progressive responsibilities, growing campuses, managing multi-million-dollar budgets, and engaging in complex projects. Previously, she served as vice president and academic officer at 2 colleges and as a vice president and chief operating officer tasked with launching American Online Community College. As chief academic officer, Deborah spearheaded a program of organizational revitalization, participated in campus growth plans, including manufacturing programs, totaling over $100 million, and her revision faculty support. In addition, Deborah oversaw the largest enrollment growth in 2007, economic downturn at one institution, and shepherded enrollment growth practices at another, resulting in week after week enrollment growth. Deborah has a keen understanding of evolving national and regional trends, along with individual college challenges to meet the needs of students and stakeholders. Deborah's creativity and unique abilities have been paramount in designing systems, processes to advance the learning-centered institution, a cultural excellence, and advocating the modernization of the college's operations and programs. Furthermore, she is noted as an empathetic leader who inspires her team with a tremendous passion for success. So again, I want to thank all of our panelists for being here today. Next, we'll have to go into a question. The first question for each of you is, what do you see as the challenges, opportunities you have faced or see as women in the industry? Deborah, I'll let you go first, please.
All right, I'm Deborah Hayden, as she said, and I'm with Precision Build Solutions, which is better known in the Tampa Bay area as Tampa Tank and Florida Structural Steel. And as you heard in my bio, I actually had graduated initially with an associate's degree in civil engineering technology. And I was working for the U.S. Geological Survey when I was in college as a part-time person. And when I didn't initially find work after my degree, my boss said, well, if you take a welding program, if you go through that certification, I think I can keep you on at least for the year and probably get you hired after that. So I said, oh yeah, let me do that. So I did that. And anyway, it was a fantastic opportunity, both of those situations. But I was very disheartened when I got out of my associate's degree program and was unable to find work. And there weren't a whole lot of jobs in the town that I was in, which was a medium-sized town, but there were a few jobs available for surveying crews, but they were all male surveying crews that left on Monday, came home on Friday. And nobody was willing to put a girl on one of those teams. And I do understand that, but that was bad. It was a very hard thing. And I was married at the time, so I couldn't just up and move to a different town and, where there were more opportunities. And after I got out of the welding program, it turned out that my government job packed up and left town as well. They moved to a larger city. And again, I was unable to participate in that move. So it was kind of disheartening, to be pretty educated and to have a lot of skills, a lot of higher math skills. And in the welding program, I loved it. It was awesome because that was certainly nothing I'd ever done before. And I really learned a lot of skills in doing the work, learning the math and everything that goes along with it and the techniques. And I got a lot better and it was fabulous. And I participated in the Vocational Clubs of America. We had, a student government effectively. And so I got a lot of experience there. And that was a wonderful experience too, to get, speaking and Robert's Rules of Order, all that sort of thing. So it was a wonderful experience, but nonetheless, it was disheartening not to get a job out of all that. So thankfully, that was a long time ago. There are many women in those fields these days, thankfully, but it can still be hard to break in. Where I work currently, we do have women from time to time, not always, but we have had plenty of women welders through the years and different roles. And of course, there's always, in any manufacturing situation, you have all the other jobs as well. I work in accounting. I have to put together all the information about the operations for the the management team internally and for all the, creditors and the shareholders and that sort of thing. So that's very important, but you have a million roles that go along. You have HR and payroll, cybersecurity, even in manufacturing, you may, even at my place, we're effectively working outside in the shops pretty much. There's a roof, but there's like not walls all the time. So you're pretty much outside. It's kind of dirty, but we use computers, we use robots. And so, technology comes into play and all these things are connected to the internet. So even cybersecurity is something that's very, very important, not only for our internal operations, but for our manufacturing equipment as well. And I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir. I hope I am, but technology is incredibly important. In my field, we do have a lot of workers that are older, that have been here for a long, long time, and some of them aren't that adept at technology. But I probably don't have to tell you, technology is in the middle of everything. You have to use technology to get your bank statement. You have to use technology to apply for a job. You use technology to look at the menu at a restaurant. So it is very important that you're up on technology, that you're comfortable with it, that you're constantly learning and growing, and that you're able to move with it because it's constantly changing. And that can be frustrating, but it's happening. Just get on board, it's happening. So there are a million things, but women definitely, we're over 50% of the population at this point. And, I am really looking forward to the day where we see many, many, many more women in leadership, because at this point in time, I just looked it up this morning, women make up about 8% of CEO jobs. And that's just wrong. It's wrong. We're not stupid and we're not unskilled. So we have to turn the tide. And my main point is your career, your future, it's up to you. You have to do the work. You have to research. You have to look into all the possibilities that you can find out about. Talk to people, anybody. You never know what somebody might be able to tell you that will open a door. You need to be reading. You need to be researching. We have a lot of organizations in the area that specifically focus on manufacturing, and we're very fortunate to have that, to make our city better. We are already in Florida, we're in the top 10 states in the nation as far as manufacturing. And in Tampa, we're in the top 2 in the state in manufacturing. So we have many, many opportunities here, lots of jobs, and a long future that hopefully will only increase. I know I'm out of time, but I just quickly wanted to say some of these organizations. We have Associated Industries of Florida, the Florida Makes Network, Bay Area Manufacturing Association, Enterprise Florida, Tampa Bay Economic Development Council, and the Manufacturing Alliance of Hillsborough County. So there are many, many resources, and your schools, we're going to hear about it, but do not hesitate to turn over every rock as you look towards your future and try to plan out what you think would be good and the different options that are available, because they are available. So it's your job. Do it.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Next, I'll go to Ms. Lauren Ebert.
So good afternoon, everyone. And I'm so glad that you guys are here to hear these awesome ladies talk about manufacturing and how manufacturing is right here in our own backyard. I think a lot of times our parents and students don't realize that there are so many opportunities that are right here where you don't have to move and leave and go somewhere else. We have plenty of opportunities for you here in Hillsborough County. So I want to talk to you a little bit about our school district, K through 12 schools, and even our post-secondary programs in Hillsborough County. I supervise our agriculture, our industrial programs, our building trade programs, and our automotive programs. So we talk about women in manufacturing. I never thought I'd be overseeing the plumbing and the welding and the carpentry programs, but I have learned a lot. So I do appreciate Deborah that she did take welding courses. So that's pretty awesome. But I love it. Like I said, I learn new things every day. I see more and more females in our programs and more girls in our programs. A couple years ago, we do have apprenticeships through Hillsborough County Public Schools. And one of our apprentices of the years for the iron workers a couple years ago was a woman. So that was pretty awesome to see. So I do think that there are still challenges as far as just getting the word out there about what all exists. and what all opportunities are there. But I do think that some of the opportunities are all of these new organizations that are helping us get the word out, just like this webinar. They mentioned the Manufacturing Alliance of Hillsborough County. So a few years ago, the county commission came to our school district and said, we want to partner with you guys to try to create more awareness and try to get our labs up to speed with industry type of equipment, so that when these students go to classes here at Hillsborough County Schools, and I know HCC has been a part of that as well, they're working on actual equipment that they're going to see when they get out in the so we were lucky to partner with Mr. Jones. He kind of headed that up for the county commission. And we started a machining technology program at Armwood High School. Armwood's in Seffner, near Brandon. And we were able to start that program up. Students can go there for 4 years in machining technology, and they can either go straight into the workforce, or they can funnel into one of HCC's machining tech programs. So there's also multiple pathways that I don't always think everyone knows about. You don't have to go get a 4-year degree, but if you want to, you can. A lot of our students at Middleton High School, engineering, they go straight on into an engineering college, 4-year college for engineering. They take some classes, dual enrollment at USF. But then others might want to do HCC's route, and some might want to go work for Mr. Sweatman at Southern Manufacturing. It just depends. So I think that's the biggest thing, and our biggest goal today is just to kind of get some resources out to everyone and get the word out that there's so many opportunities in manufacturing, a lot more, than there used to be. But I think there's always been quite a bit. It's just our job to make sure that everyone knows about them.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lauren. That is so true. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Johansson with HCC Brandon. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. I appreciate it. I had to unmute. Thank you, Deborah and Lauren, for just sharing a little bit of your background as well. HCC is no different. We offer a lot of opportunities for students, but I want to take a step back just for a minute. Most of you probably think manufacturing is what you've seen in maybe movies or the old, it's very dirty. It's really not a dirty industry like you may think it is. It is a high-tech, high evolving industry that covers an immense number of fields. I think Deborah alluded to that in her statement. Just think about right now as we're going through this pandemic, and we're all talking about vaccines. I was just sharing earlier that I got my second vaccine yesterday, and those vaccines had to be produced. They had to be manufactured. One of the programs we have here at HCC is a biotechnology program, which actually helped, not our program, but the science that we teach in that program helped in the development of those vaccines, but manufacturing is what then produces them. We also, I think for women in this industry, one of the biggest things I hear women feeling out of place, or that they don't see people like them in this industry. And that's something that we need to change. Yes. There are more and more everyday women becoming involved in this industry. I think the challenges Deborah talked about that she had early in her career, I would hope don't exist today in the same way. The doors are really open for you to be able to experience or to go after a degree or a job in the manufacturing field. Some of the programs we have at HCC, we have welding, we have robotics, we have engineering technology. We also have a pathway. If you want to go on to a 4-year school, you can take the engineering base classes, those first 2 years of transferable classes, and then move on to a university. We also have a non-university track, which is a workforce track, where you can do 2 years and then get right into the workforce. And we have certificates where you can come for a semester or 2 semesters and get into the workforce. There are jobs ranging from forklift to your logistics controls, variety of jobs, welders, things like that all happen within manufacturing. And so I think it's important for you to think about, what is it that you like to do? Do you like to tinker with things? Are you interested in how things work, or in building something or creating something from nothing? Manufacturing allows you to do all of that. So it's really important for you to start thinking now about what what area you can get involved in the manufacturing world. And HCC is your partner. We work with the school system to create pathways for students as well, and those who are already out of school and wanting to look at a second career, we have pathways for that as well too. So I am excited for you to be here today and learn more about manufacturing and about women in manufacturing. Like I said, it is a growing field for women. And just a couple statistics: in the state of Florida, there are over 14,000 jobs that we anticipate will be available in the manufacturing sector over the next 3 years. 1,500 of those jobs will be in our area. This is a $2 trillion industry. I'll say that again, it's a $2 trillion industry. This is a huge industry. We work with manufacturers and really distribution centers like the Amazons of the world. You know, if you look around your office or your classroom and look at all of the things that are made, those are made in manufacturing houses. So the high-tech sector, which manufacturing is in, has been the largest growing sector since 2009, and I don't anticipate that to stop. We think about America not being a manufacturing country anymore, and that's just not true. We are absolutely a manufacturing country. So I encourage you to think about all the options, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Dr. Judson. Okay, we'll go ahead and get to some questions. So one question I would like to ask of each of you. Are there a lot of open manufacturing jobs in Hillsborough County, such as Deborah? Yeah, go ahead and you'd like to answer that question for us.
Which Deborah? Sorry.
I am so sorry, Miss Deborah Hayden.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Well, we right now at my particular company, we're still working our way back from the COVID crazy. So we are finding that our business is still down to a degree. We've had, unfortunately, even though some of our business has definitely picked up, we're having trouble with our supply chain because, you know, there's things going on there too. So we can't get the materials to do the work. So we're kind of in a little bit of a lull right now, but you know, last year our business was cut by about 33% due to COVID. Our international business was cut incredibly. So we are very thankful for what we have, and we definitely are looking, we're anticipating that once COVID moves on, there is going to be a backlog of work that's going to be coming to the industry. And we definitely plan to be prepared to deal with that at that time. We have so many skilled workers and we're ready to go. So I don't have any hiring needs right at the moment, but we definitely will in the months ahead, I anticipate.
Awesome. Thank you. One thing I have to say is that in Crystal, Tampa Bay, and working with manufacturing employers and companies is that right now, yes, COVID has definitely put a damper on things. But it's a lull, but it hasn't slowed down. In manufacturing, I do know, talking with the different companies, they were still going. What they had to do is they had to readjust themselves for COVID. They had to adjust to how they manufacture, how they do their operations and management. And with that came with, you know, they had to learn, like I said, they had as a learning curve. With that learning curve, they adjusted and they moved forward. And we keep going. Yes, there is a lull, but yes, there's growth potential. Always think there's growth potential there. Another question I would like to ask, how can I introduce my daughter into manufacturing? I'll ask that to Dr. Johansson.
I think that's a great question. I think one of the things that you can do is we have summer camps in robotics, which is wonderful. And although this summer, we'll see how it goes with the pandemic, whether or not we'll be offering those. And Lauren may be able to help as well. But I think if your daughter's interested in manufacturing, you certainly can come over to the college. We'll give you a tour of our education program. I would also encourage you to maybe even call up to one of your local manufacturing companies here in town and ask if you can do a tour. I have never heard that someone has been told that they couldn't do something like that. Sometimes there's some safety precautions and you have to wear glasses and wear closed-toed shoes or some things that you'll have to make sure you abide by. But I think it's really important to see physically what's happening in, I would say, the modern age manufacturing. And Lauren, I don't know if there's something in the high schools or that students can take a peek at and see as well.
Yeah, so with even starting in middle school, we have manufacturing type programs. So we have robotics, we have technology education, we call them courses. Aerospace is another one of those courses. Those all have manufacturing in them, and they can start as early as in the sixth grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We have those technology education classes. As Dr. Johansson mentioned, we do summer camps, and we partner a lot with HCC. COVID did put a damper on that. I do feel like we're starting to open up a little bit more as far as events and trips and things like that. So my hope is we will get back there eventually someday, or maybe we might even have some virtual options. There are a couple other supervisors in our department that supervise some of those programs, so they'll be working on that as well. But there will be some summer options. But as always, you know, if you have a student at one of our schools, have them talk to their guidance counselor or find their career and technical education teacher at the school, and they'll be more than happy to direct them to whatever kind of courses that they're looking for, or even, you know, go to our hillsboroschools.org website and type in career and technical education. And we've actually got guides that show what programs are in what schools. So if you live in a certain area, you can click on those schools and see what type of programs are offered, and if we have those robotics programs or technology education. And I will say that a lot of our middle schools have that. And then they lead into the high school programs. So hopefully that helps. Another big thing to mention too, that we do middle through high school, is we participate in Manufacturing Day every year. It's usually in October. We have Manufacturing Month. And since we are so big, we usually take a couple days out of that month, and we take groups of students with their teachers to the different manufacturers, and they get a tour, they get a cool t-shirt, they get pizza for lunch, they get to ask questions and really see what it's like a day in the life of a manufacturer. So again, we had that virtual this past year. Maybe next year, fingers crossed, hopefully we can get back into some of the manufacturing tours, but that's so true. They're always happy to show you around. We have, they mentioned about openings and jobs in the area. I can't speak for the employers, but I do have a lot of them that come to our office and say, we really need you to train our workforce. Our workers are retiring and we need to hire. So that, you know, I do think it's a need. COVID might have put a damper on it, but there's still so much going on in our area, and it's, you know, expanding all the time. So hopefully that helps. If you want to get your student started in it, you know, see your guidance counselor at school, or find a career and technical education teacher, or even get on our website or call our office. We're happy to help.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Next question, it would be for Lauren. At what age should students start thinking about manufacturing as a pathway?
As I said, they can start as early as middle school. I know I have 2 at home, and they don't always think about what they want to do one day when they grow up. But you know, robotics is such a cool thing for them to get interested in. They don't even realize that they're doing something that could lead them to a career at some point. Any type of engineering, any type of STEM classes or STEM projects where they can put things together. Those are all great ways. I mean, you can even get your elementary students. A lot of our district has STEM clubs and robotics clubs, even in the elementary schools. And they're using different robotics and Lego sets and Arduino kits and things like that, where they're programming, I mean, in, you know, elementary school. So there's no specific age. It just depends, you know, on your student, what their interests are. And then, you know, just contact us and we'll be happy to find a connection for them.
Thank you so much. The next question probably go for all 3 of our panelists. And the question is, what is your go-to response when people are surprised you're in manufacturing? Nick, and it's also a second part to this. What have you found keeps a conversation going and learning? Miss Deborah Hayden, I'll start with you.
So the first part was what again? What
is your go-to response when people are surprised you're in manufacturing?
Oh, I I don't really have a go-to response, but I tell you, it's challenging in a good way. You know, I love that because this is not a very small company, and yet I get to do a lot. I have a lot of responsibility, and our company produces some amazing things. And, you know, I think I said that, you know, our shops are essentially almost outdoors. And so it may seem unsophisticated, but when you see things roll out of that shop that have the precision of literally a hair, it's like, holy cow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And did I mention this thing is as big as a building? And it has that precision. I mean, when you see that has been done, it's possible, and it's been done right out there in the shop with those people that look like they could be your uncle or your brother or your neighbor. It's pretty impressive. And so I love that. I love the challenge of the job I do, because I get to try to put all the pieces together and tie it up in a bow and make sense of it and deal with, you know, the international stuff as well as the domestic stuff, which is just challenging. And I love that. But it is really, you just take such pride in seeing the product and you know, cheering for the people that did that, because it's like, wow, that is some talent right there, you know?
Yes, yes. Then also, well, I think you kind of answered the second part is what have you found that keeps the conversation going and learning?
I can't shut up. So I'll talk their ear off if they want to hear all about it. But I'm never at a loss for finding new things to investigate and learn about, because it's just, the sky is the limit. You know, there is so much room for improvement in our industry, and I'm probably in any industry. But you know, we try to do continuous improvement, and you know, that's necessary because
yes,
the restrictions just get more and more. It is harder and harder to be profitable because we live in a very litigious society, and people will sue you over everything, and it can be very difficult to do business. So it is paramount that you have read your contracts, you know what's required, and that you abide, and that you do produce a product that meets the requirements and all that. So I mean, there's no end to the many things that you can learn and improve on in the manufacturing field.
Thank you so much. Lauren?
I think too, for me, in thinking about that question, I don't know that that I have a response that I use all the time either, but I do think one way that I have learned to handle my career, and some advice that I would give to women that want to get in a different career than what, you know, you would think that you would be in, would just be to always ask questions. Always, you know, when you're talking to somebody, don't be afraid to ask questions and figure out why they're doing what they're doing, or why does this work this way, or why do we need to purchase this in order for a student to learn that? Like, or what are you using right now in industry? Why do you use that piece of equipment? Just asking those questions. I think I've been, you know, educated myself in this position to be able to, you know, people still get surprised. I know I was at one of the high schools having some welders delivered, and the driver pulled up and was trying to find out who to talk to for the welding delivery. And I'm like, that's me. But then once you start talking to him and he realizes, oh, well, she does know what we're talking about. And this is, you know, so, I mean, I think it's fun. It's always fun. It's never dull. You've always got something different going on each day. So like I said, just ask those questions and get out there, and don't be afraid to try new things. I think that's the biggest thing, is just say yes to things and see where it leads you.
Thank you. Thank you. Try it out. You never know. Try it out.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Johansson?
Yeah, I would say that don't be surprised if people, like Lauren said, you know, mistake you for not the person who's actually in manufacturing. I think that's a pretty common misconception, but use it as an opportunity to then talk about what you do. So when I first really got involved in manufacturing, from an education standpoint, I was a dean and I was overseeing welding programs, and I didn't really know much about welding. And so, you know, I went in and I started learning about it, and then people would say, oh, well, you oversee welding. And I'm like, yes, I do. And what would you like to know about it now? And so just jump right in. You may be one of the few females in the room, and that's okay. Be a strong voice. What we are finding in the education realm is that women are very talented in these fields. They're detail oriented. They're able to complete tasks with precision, and see a lot of differences in color and just in variation like that. The women are able to do this work exceedingly well. And so I wouldn't shortchange yourself even because you've gotten a response of, why are you the person in the room? I would, use that as that opportunity to just, own your work and own how great you are, and move forward from there. But you may get that occasionally.
Yes, and you are your best advocate.
Should be.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next question is, how can agencies like CareerSource help job seekers, especially those that graduated or new to the industry? So that would be me. So what we do at CareerSource, like I said, we help employers find you as a job seeker. So if you graduate from our high school or from our technical colleges, or from Hillsborough County colleges, let us know. Let me know. What we do is we talk to you, we will help you create your resume, and then we will disseminate it to the different employers that are looking to hire. Like now, there's entry-level positions, the operations level positions, there's all types of different positions out there. And these employers, all of them are ready to hire. They come to me, they're ready to hire. And they're looking to hire diversity. And diversity means the women. They know that, okay, they tell me women, they're detail oriented just as much as the men are. They know what they're doing. You're trained the same. It doesn't matter. So, and they'll look to that. It is, and there's, like I said, there's so many opportunities from aviation to aerospace, like robotics, engineering, technology. There are so many different avenues for you. So take the time to look, take the time to research, take the time to ask. You have our emails. Let us know. Let us know what you are looking for. Let us know what your avenue is. If you want to continue on with your education, definitely go to Lauren or go to Dr. Johansson. Talk to them. If there's other avenues, if you want to continue education at four-year college, you can do that. If you don't want to go to four-year college, you just want to get you just want to stick to technology, learn that information and go on, you can do that. There are so many different avenues. Please do not stick to one. Definitely look at everything. I'm definitely very much an advocate of education, very much an advocate for researching and learning. And that's what we're here for. So please do that. The next question is, do students need to look for a magnet program for this type of offering? So I think I'll go take that to Lauren. You're muted, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my phone rings every now and then, so I've been putting the mute on so I don't interrupt the meeting.
I understand.
For a magnet program, not necessarily. We do have the engineering program at Middleton High School. That is a magnet program. It's one of the specialty ones in the school district. But we also have engineering technology at Gaither High School. And that's not a magnet program. So you don't necessarily have to look to, a magnet program. I would just look at what schools are in your area and then start there to see what they offer, because we are a huge school district. I think we're the 7th largest in the nation, and we have a lot of offerings at all of our middle and high schools. So we have drafting, machining technology, welding, engineering technology, those all robotics, all of those, electricity, all those tap into manufacturing. So if there's not something in your area, or maybe your student is very interested in engineering and really does want to go that engineering technology route, and they do want to apply to a magnet school like Middleton High School, and that's fine too. So they don't have to go the magnet route, but they can. So you've got options, and that's, I think, the important thing to remember about our county and about HCC is that we do have options.
Oh, thank you so much. Another question is, what are some of the skills that employers are looking for in an entry-level job? So I'm going to take that to Ms. Deborah Hayden.
Well, I mean, obviously it depends on the type of work that you're applying for, but I will say, no matter what kind of job you're in, communication skills are very, very important. Being able to write clearly and briefly is very, very important. And as I mentioned before, technology is very important. So all those types of skills, reading and writing, and technology, they go with any job you're ever going to be in. And so, I mean, certainly some you'll use more than others in different places, but you know, if you're in a situation where, you know, you're not really working with a computer, or, you know, having to write reports or anything like that, but still, when you communicate clearly, that will be noticed. That will be noticed. And so you want to make sure that you do that. And additionally, not only that, but also just in doing your job. I mean, obviously, you're probably not going to be working alone. So if you're working with other people, it's very important that you get your message across correctly, because let me tell you, when we make mistakes in our shop and maybe we drill out the pieces from a piece of plate that we accidentally use the 3/4 inch plate instead of the 1 inch plate, that is a very expensive mistake, and it takes time. It's money down the drain, and you have to start over. Expensive mistakes like that, they're not going to be tolerated very long. So it is very important that you communicate clearly in writing and in your words, and that, you know, you're used to working with other people to get something done, and you're working effectively together, for sure.
Thank you so much. Next question. For someone with a high school diploma or GED, how long would it take to get to work in manufacturing? I think I'll direct that to Lauren. What have you seen so far?
Well, actually, at the office where I'm stationed at, on our first floor, we have something called the Adult and Career Service Center, and it's kind of like a one-stop shop. We have counselors there, and if you're interested in joining one of our technical colleges, we do have welding at our technical colleges. Any other pathway that you're interested in, you would go and talk to that counselor, and then they would be able to get you information on the classes. Some of them are eligible for grants. You can get certain Pell grants to be able to pay for it. But they're all for certifications and license through those courses that you could go ahead and get started in whenever that next semester starts. So that's one way that somebody with a GED or high school diploma would be able to find out what opportunities are available right now through our technical colleges and post-secondary. I'm sure that HCC has a lot of availability that way too. So I'll let Dr. Johansson answer that question further.
Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah, we have, like I said, we have certificates as well as our degree programs. So within a semester or two, you can attain your certificate. And of course, in 4 semesters, if you're going full time, you would be able to get your degree and be out in the workplace in engineering technology. And we just started a supply chain management program this past fall, which I'm sure Deborah appreciates with all the supply chain issues. And this has been an issue across the board. I'm sure if you've been shopping, you've heard you can't get X in, or like I bought some couches and I couldn't get them in for 3 months because the supply chain was disrupted. So that program, it takes about 2 years to do, but there is a huge need for people in that area. So you can jump in within a couple semesters or a couple years and be on your way.
Yeah, thank you so much to both of you. We have a couple of more questions for you. Have you faced additional challenges as a woman in manufacturing? Deborah, I'll start with you. Ms. Deborah Hayden also, and then Dr. Johansson.
Well, I don't know that it's unique to manufacturing, but you know, I mean, oftentimes you are faced with the good old boy network, you know, and
yes,
it's imperative, especially as women, that you advocate for yourself, and you need to take the reins on your own career. You know, when I was young, I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought I'd go to work somewhere and they'd teach me everything, and, you know, eventually I'd move up, whatever. That's just not necessarily the case. You know, you need to be responsible. You need to be researching what's available. You need to be looking into the educational programs or technical programs that are available that will lead you to a career path that you want to pursue. And you need to be bringing to your supervisor's attention, you know, I really enjoy doing this. You know, what can I do to progress here? How does someone progress in this role? What are the next steps to get higher up in the organization? Are there ways to get higher up in the organization? Or do I need to leave once I get to a certain level to be able to further my skill set and that sort of thing? It is very, very important that you learn to advocate for yourself as a woman, because apparently there are great disparities between the female personality and the male personality. Apparently males are just constantly in there with their testosterone saying, I need a raise, I need more money. Well, I just did everything. It's all due to me that this company is just so successful, and I know myself as a woman, I take a different even though I'm plenty loud, but I normally, I work my butt off, but I figure they can see that. They know I'm working hard. They know what I'm doing. They know that I'm doing it right. They should see how hard I'm working. But you know what? That boss may or may not see that. They have a whole bunch of people to be responsible for, and they have their own responsibilities. So you need to be able to be thinking and be recording. I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I'm trying this to progress, to make continuous improvement part of my daily ritual, and to make my team work go better, and to go more smoothly and whatever. And so that when you do meet with your supervisor once a year or however often you're able to do that, you're able to say, well, I've done this and I've done that and I've done that. And, this has worked really well. And here's the problem I am having though. Could you help me? Blah, blah, blah. You really need to be your own advocate. And when you do that, and when you say, what do you have planned for me? And don't hesitate to say, I am interested in moving up the chain here. How do I do it? Really make yourself known, and don't let them blow you off, because they'll happily blow you off most of the time, unless they really have a need. If they're looking for people to promote because they really have a need, maybe they'll see you, but they may not. So you need to take it on yourself to really be your own advocate.
Thank you, Deborah. Dr. Johansson, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I would say, in addition to kind of what Deborah is talking about, you need to advocate for yourself and negotiate your pay. Women typically don't negotiate. They just expect that people see how hard they work. And that isn't really how the workplace works. So I would definitely suggest to you to think about your own worth, that you have a valuable seat at the table. You are a valuable player, but sometimes you have to shine your own light a little bit. And
Yes.
And definitely negotiate whenever you have an opportunity to negotiate, because you are worthwhile. And I think it goes back to, sometimes as women, maybe we think we can do everything and people will just see how great we are. And that it just doesn't always work like that. So I would say, but bring your, don't be afraid to bring your feminine, caring side. If that's okay too. I think that's one thing we've learned. I certainly have learned over the last 20 plus years, in the workplace, is that it's okay still to be a female. And so that's the other thing I would suggest to you as well. That it's important to be yourself.
Thank you both so much. Another question I think should go maybe to all three of you. How can I introduce my daughter to manufacturing? Lauren, I'll have you go first.
This same things as we've said before, is just get in touch with your school. Find out what opportunities are through your school. And then also just pay attention to, I know Mosey used to do some summer camps. Lowry Park Zoo has done some summer camps. HCC does many summer camps, but any of those robotics clubs after school or summer camps are a great way. Like I said, my kids, they're not too interested in what they're going to do, for a job right now, but they love to build things and they love to make things. And a lot of times that's engineering and you don't even realize it. So, some of those STEM kits, you can find things like that. There's a lot more that I see in stores in Target or on Amazon, a lot more STEM related type things that students could get. And they're learning and they don't even realize it. And they're learning things about manufacturing, which you don't always realize. So I think those would be some good ways to kind of get them involved. So talk to your counselors at your school, your teachers at your school, and just, keep an open eye out for things like robotics kits or, programming kits, different ways to program things. There's stuff like that too, that they can do. And like I said, you don't even think about it, that they're really learning, and they're almost starting to learn what a possible career path for them would be. So I think those are all great ways to get students started and interested in manufacturing.
Thank you so much. Ms. Deborah Hayden?
Well, I agree. When my oldest child was in school, before she went into high school, but actually when she was in middle school, I mean, we pretty much planned out her whole high school career, her middle school classes and her high school classes. And she was just driven. And she taught me. So then I knew what to do with the rest of the kids. But she was always on the lookout for different programs that she could participate in. And, she would hear about it from a teacher, or maybe a guidance counselor, or maybe, somebody had come to school and spoken to the classes, or, on the great teach-in days or something like that, different opportunities that would come up. And she was always on the lookout. And, nowadays coding is such a big deal, which is another STEM thing, and they have pushes for girls, children, that you can find opportunities that they can go learn age appropriate types of coding opportunities. So I just say, again, research for your kid, and have your kid do it too, that, you're always looking for different opportunities that sound interesting that you can participate in, because you never know what connections you might make, or the skills you might learn, or find out like, wow, I really like that. I do think I want to follow that for a career, or potentially, at least. So.
Thank you. Dr. Johansson?
Well, I'll just sum it up. I know that the two other ladies have said pretty much a lot of avenues, but I think it's about exposure and making sure that your daughter has some exposure to the industry, whether that's through middle school, high school, summer camp programs, coming to the local community college, doing some tours. Even if you don't know where to start, that may be a place to start. Tour some of the facilities. Speak with some employers in the area, talk to your neighbors, find out where they work. I think that's always a great way to get out there and have your daughter ask questions that she's interested in about maybe how something works. And maybe even she could put together a list of questions and call up a local manufacturer and interview them, something like that, to get her interested in one, speaking with somebody, and it also gives her a lot of professional skills in doing that. So I think those would be great opportunities for a daughter.
Oh, thank you, all three. That was awesome. Thank you. We do have a couple of more questions. I think we have time for one more question. And again, I wanted to address this to all three of you. What are you most excited about in manufacturing Hillsborough County? So, Lauren.
I'm most excited about just the where we're going, right? We're coming off of this pandemic, and we've been, stuck at home and doing e-learning, and now we're slowly starting to come out of it again. So I'm just excited to see our students back in the classrooms. I'm excited to see maybe our tours starting back up again to the manufacturing facilities. Just the possibilities of where we're going. We have, so many great students and teachers in our classrooms, and we're just excited to get kicked off again, and just keep, pushing. Our goal is to get students careers. We want our students, when they leave Hillsborough County School, to have a pathway, whether it's into the workforce, it's to HCC, or it's off to a four-year school. So that's our main goal. And that's what I'm excited about, is seeing students and building our workforce right here in the Tampa Bay area, keeping them at home. And we say we prepare students for life, and that's really what we feel like we do. So those are some things that excite me about manufacturing and women in the industry too.
Thank you so much. Ms. Deborah Hayden.
Well, I agree. I am so excited about the many things that are happening in the Tampa Bay area. I, have raised the three children, and they've all gone on to, higher education, and they're all in professional positions at this point. And I am just excited to see the great things happening in Tampa, because I want Tampa to be the kind of place that they want to come home and live. I want them to raise their kids around here if possible. But it's really great to see all these things happening. And, I went to a Florida Chamber event the year right before COVID. And I didn't really realize, but here in Florida, we're so fortunate, because anywhere in the state, you are within 2 hours of a major rail or water access, so we really are well positioned for manufacturing, to get things in supply chain and to get things out to the rest of the world. So we are really in a good place, especially with no state income tax and all the sunshine. So we are in a great place, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Deborah. Dr. Johansson, please.
So Deborah, that's a hard act to follow. I will say that I'm most excited. I'm relatively new to Tampa Bay, not new to Florida, but new to Tampa Bay. And I can tell you, we're situated with the port and the airport, and we have lots of distribution centers and lots of manufacturers in the area for exponential growth. And for our students, since we've been in distance learning, it is a little harder to do some of the training in the manufacturing field because it's so hands-on. So I'm really excited about getting students back into the classroom in a hands-on environment for learning to be able to fill these jobs. So that's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
Thank you, all three of you, so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. As we conclude, I just want to provide our audience with a few statistics. These are the top 5 occupations that employers are hiring for, to include assembler manufacturers, machine operators and tenders, first-line supervisors of production operators, sales representatives, inspectors, testers, samplers, and weighers. Again, those are the top 5. And with that, I want to say that those are the 5, but in those careers in manufacturing, like our panelists were talking about, each one was saying that not only do we have production and machine operators, but there's medical devices and equipment, food science, aviation and aerospace. And food science, okay, I don't know, we like to eat. So, I mean, with that being said, we like things to taste good. That's what food science is all about. So that to me, that's awesome. Also we have purchasing, occupation and health science, transportation and logistics, which is again, another huge thing here, accounting, human resources, education. Again, I can go on and on with the different career avenues we have that are available just here in the Tampa Bay area. One thing I want to say in Tampa Bay, the growth trends right now, we have nearly 500 jobs that are already available in 2021, and they're just in the 3rd month of the year. Within the manufacturing, there is 30.4% of women. So again, employers are trying to diversify their workforce. It's out there, the opportunities are out there for you. Also, too, we have a retiring workforce. 65 and older is our largest workforce, and they're retiring, which means that's opportunity, entry level, mid-level opportunities for you to start your career in manufacturing. And before I end our session, I'd like to ask each of our panelists any final thoughts before we conclude. I will go ahead with Dr. Johansson.
Sure. I just want to say to the attendees today that if you are interested in anything that we've talked about here at HCC, please reach out. We'd be happy to host you and certainly have you here and take you on some tours to see what we've got going on in this field. So please feel free to do so. Thank you so much.
Now, Lauren?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, I did put a link to our hillsboroschools.org website in the chat. Our CTE resources, that'll take you a direct link to that page if you're interested in that, or you're always welcome to call our Career and Technical Education office, and we will be happy to help guide you to any type of program or whatever school that you're looking for your students. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Ms. Deborah Hayden?
Well, I just want to say, Steve Jobs has a great quote that I love. He talks about how, when you grow up, you're kind of told, well, the world's just the way it is, and you just need to fit in that box. That's just the way it works, But he says, life can be much broader once you discover a simple fact. Everyone around you that you call, everything that you see around you that you call life was made by people that are no smarter than you. And once you realize that, you realize that you can change the world. You can change it, you can influence it, and you can build things that other people can use. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same. And I think that's important. You can change the world.
Oh, thank you so much. That is awesome. Again, I want to thank each of our panelists today for providing us great insight in your careers and careers in manufacturing. I also want to thank Think Creative. They are a creative marketing team in Hillsborough County Manufacturing Alliance, and they put this together for us. And again, thank you for inviting us as panelists. Thank you to our audience for attending this information session about careers in women in manufacturing. Again, if you would like more information about the career opportunities, please go to madeinhillsboro.org. Also, please sign up for a newsletter to receive the latest news and events that are happening in manufacturing. Again, ladies, thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for your insights and all your knowledge. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, that concludes. Thank you again. And all of you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.